Okay, everybody, hello and welcome. You are here for How to Build AI Skills for Your Career. My name is Albert, founder of Albert's List. It is Tuesday, September 30th in most places around the world, and Wednesday, October 1st for those calling in from Asia and the Asia Pacific area. All right. So, who am I? I want before we get started, a little bit about me. I'm a product marketer by day, and then I also do job search related content here through Albert's List. We've been around for 12 years. We are in the job search, AI, and side hustle skills business because we believe that you should be the most indispensable professional that you can possibly be. And so my LinkedIn is here off the QR code. I encourage you to connect with me off of that. Just point your phone to it or use the link that you see on the screen. And so, yeah, a little bit about Albert's List, a little more about Albert's List. You can access it via the QR code that's on screen here. We run job search, side hustle, and AI programs, including webinars like this, workshops, and otherwise. And we encourage you to join our community and introduce yourself and make yourself known. And just before I get any further, I want to just end the poll here and share some of the results that we have. So, 24% of you have not touched AI yet. And if you haven't touched AI, please let me know in the webinar chat why you haven't done so and why you've chosen this first webinar to give you that experience. If you're for those of the rest of you, 68% of you are somewhat experienced, you know a thing or two. Hopefully, I can teach you something new today with some of the opportunities available in the market and what we can do with AI. And for the we have four people who are experienced. So if you're experienced, maybe you'll end up correcting me in the webinar chat if I say something wrong. I'd be happy to have you on here as a presenter, sharing all the awesome things that you can do in the AI world. So it's good to have you all here. Thank you all. Please continue networking within the chat, asking questions, etc., so that we can all get to know one another and be in community. Yeah, Copilot is an intelligent Clippy. I like that. Okay, cool. So here's our agenda for today, and I hope that we have a little bit for everyone. I'm going to give an overview of AI. If you've been in this webinar in the past, um, we've kind of done a very janky version of this. Today I want to talk about AI from a where we've been, where we are, and where we are going. Then we're going to talk about how AI is impacting work. Then we're going to hop into prompt engineering, and then we're going to show you how to take action, and then we're going to do some of that action itself by showing you some things that you can do in ChatGPT and some things that you can do in Replit. Yes, I can go ahead and also share my LinkedIn profile with you in the chat here. So here is my LinkedIn, and here is our Facebook group. So indicate that you want to join, and I can go ahead and add you. It may take a few days since I am a solopreneur and I run this all on my own. So a little bit of an overview of AI, right? And so when I talk about AI and when I think about AI is that we've somewhat seen this story before. Um, Before generative AI, which is what we see now, we've all had some kind of traditional AI in our lives impacting us. And so the way that I look at it is that like AI has various different types of patterns. So for example, if you've ever been out on a trip somewhere and you haven't spent your credit card in 3 to 4 thousand miles, and all of a sudden you spend money on your credit card, your bank might notice this and put a hold on your credit card. And that's not because there's somebody on the other side who is monitoring your every single move. It is instead a set of algorithms and patterns that they're noticing. And they cancel or they postpone usage of your credit card until further confirmation because they want to make sure that it's actually you. We've also all used Amazon probably at some point in our lives. And maybe you buy some hiking shoes, and a few days later, they are trying to sell you hiking backpacks. And so when it comes to the patterns of AI in this early traditional AI, it's known as spotting, right? So spotting, being able to notice, and so forth. Where we're now today is generative AI. So generative AI is when I talk about building AI skills for your career. In true reality, it's just about building generative AI skills for your career. And so this is what we have today in the form of everything like ChatGPT, Claude, Copilot, and then all the external technologies that are just built on top of this that help you do everything from write emails to write novels, to look at videos that come out of, or rather that do cutting of videos that already exist into short form videos and YouTube shorts and so forth. And so this is today's generative AI. Yes, that's exactly how it works, Nessia. And so with generative AI, that's been something that's been really hot. And so over the last couple of years, the type of AI that we've seen is creating. So we've all gotten to do this, and part of generative AI is also vibe coding. Although there's a little bit more that's coming to that as well. And that's actually to the next slide, which is where we are headed, which is called agentic AI. And so agentic AI is using AI to take action, or otherwise known as doing. So if you visit ChatGPT and you tell ChatGPT to go to a website and make you a reservation, or you go onto Replit, which we're going to go into a little bit later, you are asking an agent to develop and make decisions on your behalf. Um, do I have any AI tools that I recommend for sales reps for prospecting and pipeline building? I don't. If someone wants to drop any recommended tool in the webinar chat, please do so. I feel like I see these. I think Piper, the AI SDR, has billboards all over the San Francisco Bay Area threatening the jobs of sales professionals. So maybe that's a good one that you can check out as well. Um, but yes, going back to where we have been with all of these various different AI solutions, I think that it's notable, right, that now agentic is where we're going next. And eventually we're probably going to get to quantum. And I don't even want to begin to describe quantum because I don't even think that that market is quite formed yet. But this is everything that's coming your way. So if you are today somebody who is an administrative assistant, you are somebody today who does tasks that are easily repeatable, agentic AI is going to be here, and it'll definitely threaten your job in some manner, because as long as AI can go out and do anything that it needs to do on your browser, then a job is going to be at stake. And so when you look at generative AI and agentic AI and general AI, one thing that I think is really important to note is just how little the circle of generative and agentic AI is as far as it relates to the broader market of AI in general. We've been talking about AI since, the Terminator days and since Skynet. And, that's one form of AI, but the type of AI that it's going to affect us the most and will probably be most disruptive to our jobs in our future is right where we are here in terms of generative and agentic AI. And so this is an older diagram if you're interested in learning how AI works specifically. It's a combination of machine learning neural networks and expert systems that work together to learn these patterns, make predictions, and perform tasks. And so on top of that, they're either creating things for you now or taking action on your behalf, knowing what these patterns are. And so that's really the 101 way of explaining it. It is the people who are working at Facebook, working at OpenAI, who are now making $1 million salaries, who understand this all on a much, much deeper level. Yes. Thank you, Christy. Thank you. So, how is AI impacting work today? AI is really making a dent in our job market, and there's a lot of different things to consider, right? So, one of these came out earlier this year, and so it said that 22% of U.S. workers said that they use AI to assist with their work on a weekly basis, compared with just 15% in 2024. And so that's where things have gone over the last year or so. People have really begun to realize that AI plays a big part in what they need to know because they believe in the slogan that while AI may not take your job, somebody who knows AI will probably take your job because they can do things faster and they can do it more effectively. So if you're somebody who's been resistant to learning AI so far, Let this be at least one of the earliest wake-up calls you get. If you're wondering what jobs AI will replace, it tends to be a pattern of jobs that are very repetitive. And, they may be low paid as well, but repetitive in some sense too. So, for example, these jobs tend to be ones where you're answering phones, interacting with people, doing repeated work, driving efficiency to some effect. So if you think about it, right, data entry clerks, if you can literally take pictures of a table on a piece of paper and then ask ChatGPT to turn it into a table that you can copy and paste. Um, if you are a bank teller, potentially AI can take you over unless you're doing very bespoke type work. Proofreading is another one. And all of these have very high AI replacement risk, and a lot of these have expectations of job loss by 2030, with the exception of some translators. Christy says, I'm mainly shied away from using AI due to the environmental impact, but it's becoming more integrated and not as easy to opt out of. Yeah, so there are ethical aspects to AI as well. And I do talk about those. I do talk about those extensively within the presentations that I make. I think that if you don't already know, AI uses a lot of water and it uses a lot of electricity. And that's correlated with the rise in electricity and water costs over the last couple of years. And for the people who live really close to data centers in Arizona and areas of California and other states like Texas, where AI is very much a part of everyone's daily life, and also these data centers are very much their next door neighbors, they are seeing their costs rise exorbitantly. And so we're going to come to a point where these costs that AI incur from the environmental impact are going to leave perhaps cities wondering whether they should feed their people or whether they should feed their data centers. And that's going to be a very, very interesting future. Other jobs likely to disappear in 2 years because of AI. Some of these are roles that you have seen already on the last list, but we're also looking at truck drivers, taxis and ride shares, content writers, customer service representatives, and these are all because we're seeing not just AI automation, but also robotic automation. So if you're somebody who's been in San Francisco or somebody who's been in LA, you no doubt noticed that there's a lot of try cars that drive themselves at this juncture. And so at a global level, right, we're also going to see a lot of interesting changes with what AI does. The World Economic Forum did a Future of Jobs report earlier this year that said that 170 million jobs will be created by the AI revolution, while 92 million jobs will be displaced, and about a billion of these jobs are going to continue evolving in this new labor market. Um, I think one of the things that is important to note is that it's really difficult to say whether these numbers will be bigger or smaller. As a marketer, I do behoove you, though, to think about how AI is being sold and articulated to you. In the tech world, you usually have a lot of executives who need to say outlandish things, like AI taking half of all entry-level jobs in the next 3 years, in order to get press interest. And that press interest is meant to drive a sense of fear of missing out for people who need to buy this software and feel better about themselves. And so before you think and buy into the hype, the doom, the gloom, the fear of I want you to ask yourself, am I being sold software at this moment? So that's just something to think about as we look through things. If you're a new graduate, AI is also something that is really, really tough on you right now. So Stanford did a study last month that showed that there's been a 13% decline in jobs for young US workers. And the Bureau of Labor Statistics has also shown that the unemployment rate for youth between the ages of 16 to 24 was 10.8% in July. And this is about a percentage point higher than July of 2024. Um, thank you, Melanie. And so what we're looking at here is we're seeing a situation where companies are realizing that perhaps younger workers who need to be trained and who need to be trained not only on how to become workers, but also use the technology needed for young workers, are being sidelined by companies that would prefer to hire AI or at least implement AI technologies. And so if you have a young person in your life, go give them a hug and really wish them the best of luck in their job search, but also encourage them to learn AI so that they can be part of this future. And this is also a reason why there are many people who, instead of pursuing tech like they had been told over the last decade, are also going into the trades. And so this is going to be some really major evolutionary stuff. Um, yes, Jeremy, this will be recorded. Thank you for joining us. Sherry, our company is building our own AI systems. It's wild. Yep, they're looking to replace you eventually. Paul says, I heard it described that it may not take your whole job, but it may take a part of your neighbor's job and that neighbor and that one job remains instead of three. Yeah, that's the other thing is consolidation, right? So, one of the most important things to understand about a worker in today's world is that labor is the most expensive part of every single business. And so for some companies, that is an expense that they are happy to pay because they realize that a good society is a society where people can afford to live where they need to live, and is a society where people are feeling stable and can raise families and so forth. And then there is the opposition to that that believes that technology disruption is inevitable and that if people lose jobs, that is part of the collateral damage. And it is up to those individuals and perhaps maybe the government, depending on where it is, to close that gap, all while they become wealthier and wealthier. And so that's not meant to be political in any way. It's also not meant to be necessarily sociological. It's just meant to think from an economic standpoint what the downstream impact of all these things are. And so we will see if we ever get to that in this lifetime. I sure hope not. And I sure hope none of you do either. But that's why we host these webinars, because as much as I'm here to be a marketer and, offer you opportunities to learn AI and market a workshop or something to you later, I also want to tell you that as you think through the rhetoric that you hear from the outside world, and as you hear people tell you and hype up to you what AI is and perhaps even isn't, that you can tell the difference and that you can articulate your response to those conversations. So, for every single piece of positive news and maybe, or negative news rather, there's also some very interesting news to also go through that as well. MIT also had a report last month that showed that 95% of generative AI pilots at companies are failing. And this is an interesting one because for those who doubt AI, this is probably something that they read with glee. And the truth of the matter is that when it comes to these POCs, right? These projects that companies try to pilot because they want to see what works or doesn't work, it kind of works like an entrepreneurial sort of endeavor. And in the world of entrepreneurship, 90% of companies fail anyway because there's not enough demand or they're just shooting themselves in the foot. And so this is also part of, I think, the growth of AI. And of course, as you read about this too, and as you've watched the news over the last month, there have been also a lot of people who say that AI is in its own bubble. And so, when you look at that one way or another, AI being in its own bubble is probably a thing. How it bursts is going to be anyone's guess. And what comes after that is also going to be anyone's guess, especially with the rest of the economy going the way it is. And so, for those of you who usually join us for our monthly talks with Dr. Riley White, this was a conversation we had last month where we really discussed like whether AI is in a bubble or not, which direction it's headed in, and it's a topic that we're going to be following for the next couple of months as things evolve. Okay, so what does that really mean at the end of the day for all of this stuff, right? Is that number one is that AI is going to be the future. And one thing that I want you to know, also as a marketer and as your friend who works in tech, is that wherever AI goes, it's going to be like every other technology that's preceded it. It's not about hitting the moon, but landing somewhere in the stars, right? We all thought social media would connect us and that it would bring communities closer together. And what did it really do? It made us argue with friends we haven't heard from high school about politics. We also had cell phones, or rather smartphones, come into vogue, right? And smartphones at least were supposed to make us a lot more connected and be more productive. And what did it do? It created an anxious generation of people. The internet was also supposed to be a public good that was supposed to bring information to all of us in what we dubbed in the 90s as the information superhighway. And what has that done? It's also bred a lot of really great resources, But in the same sense, there's also a lot of negativity and there's also a lot of addiction that happens in this realm too. So, it's just something to think about where AI will come through in this pattern. As I mentioned earlier, your job may not be lost to AI, but somebody who knows how to use it will, and they might end up fragmenting the jobs of three people into like one person. And so it's important for you to understand how to position yourself, how to learn AI to use it in your own practical way that's going to benefit you. And, a lot of countries and governments around the world are investing significantly in AI, right? In the United States, we have Project Starlight, which is extremely, extremely big right now, with a lot of people set to make a lot of money off of it. And then on the other hand, you also have AI leading to many different businesses. And so we encourage you to look at how you can create a future with all of it. Um, yes, corporate ownership of the internet as well instead of the common good. Yeah, and so um, Tim Berners-Lee, I believe, who was the inventor of the internet, probably wanted it as a public good, but has probably seen it evolve into something where you have internet service providers that throttle data and look at, the internet as their own way to control ins and outs. And then you have censorship, and then you also have extremism and all of that stuff in between. Gosh, I'm getting so political today. I don't mean to be that way, but there's just a lot of thoughts on my mind. And if I'm an extremist or if I sound like one, please tell me in the webinar chat to come back more to the center. I will appreciate you for it. Okay, so I've used AI for a few things in my life, right? And so I have a career coach wizard that I've created that uses my LinkedIn profile as well as my as well as my resume. This is one that's unique to me. I'm also thinking of developing one that is unique to Albert's List and uses my philosophy to find a job. And there's also other things that you can do, for example, too, like the Mujeres de Acción grant writer. Mujeres de Acción is the nonprofit that my girlfriend runs that is geared towards the Latino community on the central coast of California. It was founded when her mother had breast cancer and she could not find resources to help translate from English to Spanish what she was going through. Her mother is still alive, and thankfully. And ChatGPT has been also really helpful along the way because she turned this need for support into a nonprofit. And so what we've done with this nonprofit is we've created a custom GPT that helps us write grants based on foundational documents of the nonprofit, including the business plan, existing press releases, social media posts, event calendars, and so forth. And so these are the things that you can create that are very powerful for this entire thing. Okay, so question from Melissa. Ask you to come back to the center of your being or the center politically. Come back to the center politically, so be more neutral. I know, yeah, Rathi, you're explaining common frustrations we have all seen. Yeah, thank you. I don't even know what these frustrations are anymore and where they just stand. I do not mean to pontificate, so I'm just hoping to stick with AI here. And all of you are very, very kind to me, and I appreciate that very much. Okay, so the next thing I want to talk about is how to use AI. This is the super basic stuff. You're all going to probably have seen this before, especially if you have used a little bit of it just to type around. And this is just really about AI prompting, right? And so the question of when people ask, how do I use AI? The real question is actually not how do I use AI, but it's how do I use AI for blank? Because how you use AI is really depending on what you want to use it for, right? So you can do it everything from writing emails to planning vacations to learning random things and using it as a reference point like Wikipedia to strategizing and starting a business, identifying diseases, reading long documents, attending meetings, editing video, and so much more, right? You could even upload your tax return from 2024 into ChatGPT and ask it to identify what kind of cost savings or any of the additional tax savings that you could have found, or what kind of refund you should expect to get with tax proposals and changes coming up soon. So it's very interesting what you can do with all of it. And you could even upload your budget, your monthly budget, and ask a ChatGPT or a Grok what it is that you can change about it as well. And so, what does it come down to at the end of the day, right? Is that a lot of your ability to use AI comes down to prompting or prompt engineering, depending on who you want to call it. And prompting is what a user enters a request into a generative AI platform like a ChatGPT or a Grok or a Gemini or your favorite or your Copilot. And so what you're doing is sort of like acting as a software engineer, but this is more like AI engineering. You're giving it a command, you're telling it to do something, and the more specific you are, the more powerful it is. And so, yes. So what AI assistant is used for taxes? So I would say that I mean what I've done is I've uploaded my tax return to ChatGPT, and then I've asked it to act like a CPA and trying to find additional savings. I also so in the United States, we also know that the One Big Beautiful Bill passed a month and a half ago or 2 months ago. And the taxes are going to change significantly for 2025 when we file our taxes in 2026. And so one thing that you could consider doing is uploading your tax return into ChatGPT for 2020 for from 2024 and saying, "Hey, what is my tax situation going to look like next year when I file my taxes? Should I expect an even larger refund and what income will I be taxed on based on those numbers?" So that's one way to look at it. Sherry says, I use Claude for a lot of things. It helped me pick my 401k allocations that my company offers. I made a dog sitting app for, wow, I made a dog sitting app for my clients. Okay, that's really awesome. Is that app something that that the rest of us can download? I would love to see that. I think the fact that you vibe coded that all on your own is really, really amazing. All right, cool. And we have 79 people here in the audience. So if you want to share that with all of us, we'd love to see it. Okay, awesome, cool. And so there's a couple of types of prompting when it comes to using AI. And for those of you who've used AI before, this is going to be review. For those of you who are new to it, this is going to be new. And for those of you who already vibe code, like Sherry here, you already know the power of multi-shot prompting. But going back to this, that is zero shot prompting. So zero shot prompting is no context and really great for general knowledge. So you can tell ChatGPT to, for example, describe this coffee mug, right? You might have a coffee mug that's sitting next to you on your desk right now. It's white, it's got a handle, and ChatGPT will give you a nice, simple response to it. Or you might say, I have this coffee mug on my table and I am looking to sell this coffee mug or scale this coffee mug and sell it on the open market on like eBay or Etsy. And you might say, describe this coffee mug from Starbucks. It has a nice handle and a smooth rim for easy drinking. And what ChatGPT will do based on these prompts is that it will use these prompts to infer what you might be wanting to do next. If you're just asking a coffee mug, it's going to say, okay, this is just a coffee mug. On the other hand, if you're saying, I'm using this coffee mug as a marketing product because I'm in the coffee mug business, and I want to convince my customers that I want to buy a coffee mug, the multi-shot prompt is going to be a lot more helpful because ChatGPT is now your brainstormer. Okay. So Cheryl writes, can I put on my resume that I'm good at creating prompts related to my career? Is this valuable to employers? Examples of how I can do this. So I would say that when it comes to creating prompts related to your career, it really truly depends on, I guess, what it means. So Cheryl, if you can talk a little bit about what you do for work, maybe in like a sentence or a few words, I think that might be helpful. Um, I would say that the best way to connect your AI to your career would be to say that you used some AI tool to do something within your career, and then that resulted in savings or an increase or some kind of result that is positive within your work. So I think that if you mention the prompting that way and then indicate in your skills that those are the types of AI platforms that you know, that it's going to help you out a lot. So how do you effectively use AI prompting? Number one is you definitely use it like a partner, right? So this is something that you're talking to, and for those who also use AI as their friends out there, it's kind of like that. And what you do is you give it a role. And my favorite thing to do with AI is to tell AI to act as if they are something, and that then they take on that sort of persona. Um, and then you give it a task. What should the AI do? How should it output something? And the thing that I really like about any of these platforms is also the ability for it to interview you. So, for example, let's say I am going to go out for dinner after this webinar tonight. One thing that you can do is you can tell AI to act as if it was a restaurant recommender and interview you to figure out what your favorite foods might be and what you might be most interested in and what's around you in particular, right? And so ChatGPT, Grok, or Gemini, or any of your favorite tools are going to go into this 10-step questioning process and will ask you a series of questions. And based on those answers that you give, synthesize those answers and then make a recommendation for you. So instead of having to go through Yelp, instead of having to go on Google Businesses and look for what it is that you want to actually eat, AI takes the best of all of that and then gives you the information that you need to make that better and more effective decision. And this works across all sorts of different use cases. I've used it to go on vacation. So when I was in the Smoky Mountains earlier this last spring, I used ChatGPT as my entire tour guide tool to go see the Smoky Mountains. And so I had to give me a 3-day schedule. And while my schedule changed because I might wake up later or spend more time in one place versus the other, AI and ChatGPT in this case was also very cognizant when I prompted it to tell me how I should change my day based on what I experienced. And so that's something for you to keep a note and keep in your back pocket. So whether you are looking to tutor your children, or whether you are looking to go on a next place for your vacation, or buy a new car, or evaluate the best chairs for your dining room tables. AI can help you do that by interviewing you and getting you there. And that's the next part, which is context. And then the final thing is how should it be structured? My other favorite thing to do is to ask AI to interview me or do a mock interview practice for me and give me the answers to the interview questions in a multi-column table that contains the question type, what story I draw from my resume, and then the answer I give, and then why that answer is a good answer. And so those things are all really great, and we're going to practice these things all as well. Yeah. So, yes. Yep. Let's see. Going back into the questions here. Can this help if I'm into international business development for an herbal medication company? Yeah, absolutely, it can help. So, if you're looking to expand businesses and you're going into a new country, you can ask ChatGPT to act as a business developer and look for potential partnerships that you can work with together. And then you have to research those partnerships on the other end. Um, yeah, the military has its fingers in ChatGPT. I think OpenAI is giving ChatGPT to the US government for $1. And so wherever that may go, who knows? But yeah. You also need to be very cautious about hallucinations. That is correct. Universities are resisting the extent use of AI. I think that this is partially true. The CSU system, which is the Cal State University system, is gives ChatGPT to its students for free. I was just at San Francisco State last week, and they all get ChatGPT on the house. And I think the inevitability of AI makes that an okay thing because it's like, well, they're going to use it anyway. And they're going to find some way around it. So you might as well just give it to them and let them become fluent in it because it's only going to help them once they graduate because AI is becoming so consistent across everywhere. Yeah. This is the other thing, right? I think we want to mention it somewhere here. Actually, I didn't mention it, but um when it comes to everything that you do in effective AI prompting, it's also important for you to, as many are saying in the chat here, identify hallucinations. So not everything is going to be true when you type it out there. And so I want to encourage you to really um, be aware of what could be right and what could be wrong. And so if you upload your resume, and I've seen this happen, and you use your resume as a career as a career barometer, or rather a piece of content for AI to gauge. Sometimes ChatGPT will make up information on your resume so you can sound really good. And so you need to speak back against that and make sure that You aren't lying on your resume, but you are using the best data that you possibly can to be effective in your job search. And proofread, yes, and proofread, yes, a double check for accuracy. Okay, so once you have AI, there are a lot of other things that you can do with it. One of the things I love about ChatGPT, as I mentioned earlier, is the custom GPTs that you can use. Custom GPTs thrive on data that you enter in that's custom. So if you're looking to plan your wedding like I am, and you need one place to store your guest list as well as all the other logistics, a custom GPT is a great way to do it. If you're also looking to plan your vacation, a custom GPT can be a great way to put your information there as well. It can also be a great way to start your own personal brand. So if you're somebody who wants lots and lots of views on your LinkedIn profile, um, I would say that custom GPT can be a good way to go. You can upload your writing, you can upload your writing sample and indicate to ChatGPT what tone you want to write in, and that's going to help you a lot. Um, Another thing that's also coming up hot lately that I'm looking into as we speak, and I think I will probably run this as a part of a future webinar, is N8N workflows. And so N8N is an open source tool that can also be run as a commercialized system on the cloud that kind of takes traditional workflow tools like Zapier and IFTTT to the next level, where it'll automatically look at content for you, conduct analysis for you, read your email, and then give you generative AI responses that you can use as your own triggers for responses. And so that's something that I want to talk about in the future. Um, and then the next final thing is agents and automations. And so agentic AI is actually becoming very prevalent. And I might have Renee Tercios, who has been here before, to come back on this webinar and show what an AI agent can do uh, once you once you plug it into the right systems. And so agents and automations are very much becoming a lot more prevalent in these places and spaces. Okay, so that's a lot. I just went through 25 slides of very heavy AI content. You're probably wondering how the heck do you get started in AI, right? And so Albert's List is in the AI world and the AI space, and so I want to invite you to some of our upcoming events before we get into the demo piece of this work. So the first one is coming up on October the 15th. How to strategize and execute your job search with ChatGPT in 1 hour. One thing I've learned about people over the last couple of years is that they take a long time to execute their job search, sometime somewhere between 2 and 3 weeks, because they've got to think through their resume, what they want to do, how they want to do it, et cetera, et cetera. And so, what I've created is a 90-minute or so program where I walk through all these different prompts with you to really show you how you can do everything about your job search preparation in about an hour or so. And so, I do this because I want to show you how you can do it. And the reason why I also have it behind a mini paywall is because there's a lot of spammers that unfortunately come through. So you're going to be able to build your job search in 90 minutes or less. And really, when you get all the prompts, you can execute it for less than 60 minutes. So um, go through the QR code and check it out. See if it's interesting to you. Um, that workshop is at 6 p.m. PST. Yeah, so 6 p.m. PST, 9 p.m. Eastern. Okay, so the next one is how to land a software engineering job in just 3 weeks with AI. So Fong Lam is our software engineering career coach. He worked at DoorDash, Walmart, and IBM, and now works in the cryptocurrency space, specifically in blockchain. And he was pipped from his job in August. And so he took a few weeks off, sent out a zillion applications, used AI to help himself, and landed a job. So if you're somebody who's technical and you're looking for someone to help you out and really give you some tips on how you can accelerate your job search, check that out. And by the way, for this ChatGPT workshop, I'm looking for a volunteer. What I do is look for somebody who is going to be attending, and I'm not going to even look at your resume or your LinkedIn before you do it. I want you to send them both to me. I'm going to download them to my local system, and then I'm going to upload them to ChatGPT. So if you don't want your phone number or anything on there, then take that off. But what I'm going to do is basically conduct an entire job search without knowing what your background is, and we're going to interview you, and we're going to use AI prompts to help you launch your job search. So if you'd like to come, Sherry, I would love to have you be the volunteer who might help with your job search. We also have on-demand AI courses. So this goes to our Gumroad page. Okay, so why ChatGPT and not another AI? So actually, what I do now is I say ChatGPT for marketing purposes, but if you show up, Melissa, I actually conduct that job search in ChatGPT, Grok, and Gemini simultaneously, just to show you what the results end up being and to show you whether you get similarities and differences. Um, I encourage you, I'm trying to be uh, a lot more diversified when it comes to using that AI technology. So I hope that answers the question. I do not have a subscription to Claude right now, so um, we will uh, we will have to pass on that one for now. But if you join that course, uh, the prompts will be the important part, and and if you want to use your own AI, so if you even wanted to use DeepSeek or any of these other tools that exist out there on the market right now and follow along, then I encourage you to do that as well. And your mileage will definitely vary, and I don't guarantee anything to not go off the rails during these webinars, but what I do guarantee is that you're going to find a way to job hunt faster. Yes, Grok is okay and does not give wacko answers. I think when you give it your resume and your LinkedIn and you give it a very professional approach, you end up with something that's a whole lot better. Yeah, yep. Okay, so this next piece here is to take our on-demand AI courses. This is some AI courses that we have on our Gumroad page. We have courses on building custom GPTs, building a side hustle with AI, or just really an early introduction to AI. So I want to encourage you to check those out. And then we have our free weekly AI newsletter, which I describe as last week tonight meeting your AI future. Here you can get prompts, new technologies to test out every week, connect AI's progression to your career opportunities and threats. And so this is a newsletter that we have on Beehive, and I encourage you to take a look at it and read through it, and just be a subscriber because it also helps build Albert's list as well. Um, cool. So, and then the final thing that I want to offer before I go into the demo is there an AI topic in particular that you want to see? Do you want to learn how to use AI in some particular context? Whether it's to build a side hustle like a faceless YouTube channel, whether it's to do something in your career, build a personal brand, anything in between, or build automations, let me know and I want to help you build a program for that. So here's the QR code for this. Um, let's see. Well, thank you, Sherry. What is the current certification standard? I'm not sure what you mean by that, Peter. Robert, based on your personal experience, how would you rank order all the Gen AI in terms of their all-around usefulness? That's a really, really fascinating question. I think the agreement that I'm starting to see in the market tends to be that a lot of these AIs tend to be very similar and they all evolve in similar ways. But if you were really to look at the smaller details, I think Claude is becoming a lot better at like coding. It has traditionally been a lot better at writing. I think ChatGPT is good for all around everything. Grok, I've also heard, is very technical. And I mean, depending on how you feel about Elon, that could go one way or another. But for me, I would say that, and then if you're really looking for creativity's sake, and a lot of things that are evolving at once, Google and Gemini and everything around Gemini, including Notebook LM and Veo and Banana, are all really, really powerful and getting even more powerful by the day. So I think if I was really thinking about how I view my AI tools, it would be ChatGPT. Then it'd be a really close second with Claude or Gemini, and then it'd be Grok, and then probably everything after that. So yeah. Yep. Okay. So the newsletter is here. I want to, okay. So let's see. Sherry writes, I want to learn how to get a really good resume for LinkedIn. I keep hearing LinkedIn uses AI to sift through resumes. Yeah. Okay. Build automation and a notebook LLM. Okay. Notebook LM. Yeah. I'm gonna spend some time over the next month to learn N8N and try to find some applications into my life for it. And I might come with an N8N demo for the next month. Or maybe using N8N to help you automate your job search. Build agentic AI to crunch data from different sources. Yeah. Accreditation of AI similar to the Legal Bar Association. So, I would say that there's really nothing for that at the moment. You can take courses from Coursera, Microsoft, and all these other places. I don't think they give you the actual traditional certificate. And the reason why is because AI continues to evolve and it continues to change. So, it's really difficult at that point. Okay, so all right, so we're gonna look at Notebook LM and N8N for the next month. My hunch is very correct on this, and so yeah. So we're gonna go into a little bit of how to use AI for your demo, and so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna unshare my screen, and I'm going to share my desktop browser instead here. And what we're gonna do is we're going to go ahead and go into here. Actually, no, I don't want to share my whole screen. I want to share just an application. So here we go. Okay, so when it comes to, and let me put everything back here. It's been so great to see all of you engaged and interacting today. This is wonderful. And I see that I missed a Q&A as well. Did I miss a Q&A? Okay. Payam writes, is there any solution for decoding? Maybe to train an LLM for professional drawings that inherently designs for human understanding and not machine decode SLD, single line diagram, and extract data out of it. You might just end up uploading you might just end up uploading your data into a chat GPT or similar type tool, and then from there ask it to unmask whatever it is that you may be looking for. Is there good AI for crunching numbers on financial statements? There are specific AIs. You could probably use ChatGPT too as well if you wanted to. But there are some of these AI tools that are coming out all the time. Um, a workshop on how to use AI to build a faceless YouTube channel or an Instagram page. Okay, I have an idea for you there. And I might just sell a 3-hour course and see what happens there with that. Okay, regarding topics, maybe some instruments to improve prompts and okay, improve prompts and effectiveness of results, less hallucination, minimizing errors mistyped. Okay. For those who would like a list of AI assistants used in creative fields, message me. Great, Stephen. Awesome. Thank you. Automate job search. Okay. I think we might end up doing an N8N on how to automate your job search. I think I'm going to do some research on that this next coming month, and we're going to figure that out together. You could also use lazy apply, but I also think that that may not necessarily be the best because it applies to pretty much every single job under the sun. Okay, so we have a little bit of time for an AI demo. The explanation went a little bit longer than I thought. I hope that all of you learned a lot in the last 50 minutes or so, and that this has all been really useful along the way. Automate whiteboard video creating. So, Alex, I did see a tool for that on AppSumo a couple of weeks ago for a lifetime deal. I did not buy it because I don't necessarily use this in my business. But if that's something that you're looking for, go on AppSumo and look for tools like that. Maybe keep up with the industry standard expectation for what your base and preferred knowledge should be in AI. So that's a really interesting one, Christy. Um, I feel like that's almost a weird and unfair thing to ask from employers to employees because AI is literally changing every single day by the moment. It's getting better, it's processing more. And so what sounded relevant today is no longer relevant like, from 3 months ago. But it's definitely happening, right? Because These companies want people who know how to use AI and know how to use AI really well, and they're not going to settle for anything less. And so it's something that we definitely have to be aware of as we go into our own job searches. So yeah, that's just something to think about. So the first thing I want to show you today is Replit. So Replit is like all these other apps like Lovable and Base 44, which I get too many YouTube ads for these days. It is a technology that will help you build an app, whether it's a web app, even a game, and even agents and automations at this point. And so I want to keep this simple. Maybe for next month, I'm going to say I'd like to build an agent that automatically applies for jobs for me based on the resume that, links everything else. And I'm going to figure this out, but I'm going to have a lot of fun with that. But for now, I want to show you, right? Like a lot of us want to build our own website. A lot of us want to build our own personal brand. So I want to say, design or rather create a landing page for Albert Chen, a product marketing professional in Silicon Valley. Create an about me section, contact me section, um, let's see, portfolio, log, and an introduction section at the top with my headshot, right? And so we're going to go ahead and click enter. And what Replit will go ahead and do is take all of this data and it'll make a lot of assumptions too along the way, but it'll take this and it's going to, based on 4 lines of copy, create something for me. Yeah. My doctor's just launched an app after resisting IT upgrade. Robin, thank you so much for coming. And Robin, I do have an email from you that I have not replied to yet. And so I apologize for not getting back to you. But yes. So what we're gonna do is, wow, okay. So now it's saying build the entire app, or best if you want to see a design prototype and then iterate. So because we only have 5 to 10 minutes, I'm gonna tell it to start designing. And so what it's going to do, it's going to go ahead and design that here. Um, okay, so yes, the screen is shared. Can everybody else see the screen? Amitesh writes, I just want a proof of concept to be shared, created, have little knowledge of programming. Is there any help that AI can do? Yeah, so you can do that. So if you wanted to say, so we'll go to ChatGPT while this website loads. If you want to say, I want to create a daily calorie tracking app, prototype something for me available on a mobile app, right? ChatGPT can now also do this too. So it's going to give you your app here. It's going to give you this, and then it's going to has a basic data model, and then it can create a ready to use Figma style mockup and so forth, and then it can create that for you. Or if you wanted to say create an HTML website, um, so this is a little bit of everything, but you can also create an HTML website or an HTML version of Pong. It can also do that here too, and it's creating this code. And what it used to do that I really liked a lot, I think if what model is it using right now? I'm not sure. But what it used to do is it used to be able to show you this inside of a preview version. But basically, it can give you all that code now too. And if you want to, you can literally just copy and paste this into a notepad and then have it played, right? So, um, I don't know if I can do like notepad, um, to HTML. Yeah, I'm not gonna even try this. Okay, so yeah, so you can do that and then go from there. This is ChatGPT right here in front of you, everything that you see. Okay, oh wow. Okay, so it's doing all of this stuff now. Um, I want to see what it can do to like preview it, but here we go. Okay. So this actually takes a little bit longer than it used to, but maybe that's for the better. Okay. So I also want to show you a little bit of ChatGPT stuff as it relates to you're interviewing, right? So we're gonna open up a new ChatGPT window here. And so yes, do you need to pay for the website being created by Replit? Does it need to be hosted somewhere? So Replit itself is $180 a year or $15 a month. You can also choose to host it on Replit itself, or if you so choose, you can also take a look at the files that it's been created here. And what you can do is you can download this as a zip folder and then unzip it into your own hosting area and then update it like that. And so, yeah, okay. So it's creating, what is it doing here? Okay. It's creating a lot of different things, it seems. Okay. So, yeah. No, that is not me. That is not me, the profile photo. Um, where did that go? Okay, so yeah, it created this as me. I don't think it knows who I am, but if you want to also update your own profile picture, then this would be a way to go about it as well. And so we'll see where this goes to. Yeah, AI Albert. Yep. Okay. So if you're also doing this, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and uh, look for my resume. Um, and this is a resume template. Okay, so here's a resume that I used from last year. So when you do ChatGPT for your resume, and you're gonna all learn a little bit more about this when we do our job search in 1 hour program later next month, is that ChatGPT needs content in order to really thrive and do what it needs to do to help you with your job search. And so um, what you can end up doing here is, hello, I am applying for a job at Google as a product marketing manager on, let's just say, Android, right? Um, and I don't have a job description, but if you wanted to copy and paste a job description after this, you could do that too. And ChatGPT can do a bunch of matching things. And what I'm going to say is, I am looking to prepare for my interview, and I will copy and paste this prompt here in a moment too. Um, Give me a table to help me prepare. I'm going to say column A is question type. And so for those of you who have ever worked at Google, you also know that question types at Google are also very specific in terms of what they're looking for. But what we're going to type is star, hypothetical, personality, and Google specific googly questions. Column B, we are going to put the question itself. Column C, we are going to do the answer from my resume. Column D, we're going to write the answer I give verbally. And then column E is why this is a good answer. And what it's going to do is it's going to give you an entire long table where you can organize yourself, and it's even given you a googly question here, which is fantastic. And it's gonna give you question type, question, answer from the resume, the answer you give verbally, and why this is a good answer, right? And so this is where you can organize all of your answers and prepare for your answers ahead of time in a way where you either take these answers and make them your own, or you take these answers and you learn to memorize them and you go for a day at the beach or a day in a forest, or you go to your backyard and you just read these answers all afternoon and prepare for your interview. Um, ChatGPT can also expand this to 20 to 25 questions, including Android-specific product marketing scenarios, moonshot thinking questions, and so forth. And so I'm going to say, yes, please expand, right? And so with all of this, this is a way for you to prepare for your interview in a really meaningful manner that uh, aligns with what Google is looking for, given this googly stuff. But then also in this star method and hypothetical, as well as some, I think, personality questions that might have been thrown in here as well. And so this really changes how interviews can be conducted, mostly because um, mostly because when you consider where all of this comes from, uh, you know, it's from a whole entire internet, showing how you interview, but more so to that fact, when it comes to prepping for interviews, you have the answers far, far in advance. Okay. Thank you, Lisa. Yes, so the prompt question up here was, I'm looking to prepare for my interview. Give me a table to help me prepare. And this one is specific to Google. Yes, exactly, Christy. Thank you. Oh gosh, that was a mess. Okay, so yeah. So if we go back to the Replit portfolio, Replit has now in what looks probably like 9 minutes ago, created a website for me that is focused on my personal brand as it relates to my career. And so um, it's written out everything here, and obviously I need to go back and edit it. But basically, this is what it's been able to develop. And so these are the kinds of things where you can really get to where you want to be a lot quicker. So you can keep iterating on design. You can say, change my email under contact information to albert.qyan@gmail.com, right? And so it'll also do that, and we can just watch this change as it goes here. But if you're also ready to publish it, what you can do is you can also publish this app publicly to the internet through Replit's hosting services. And so this also will cost you more. I think they give you $25 a month, and you can also attach your own domain to it because Replit is also now in the domain business. So if you go back to preview, they've already updated my email. It happens really quickly. Yeah. So, I know we are 6 minutes after the top of the hour now. This is some of the AI demoing. We want to talk about prompt and prompt importance. We just showed you how to prepare for your interview and then also how to build a website. And if you really want to go even further, you can build your own like app here too. So, for example, I guess if you wanted to build a stock analyzer, an A/B test calculator, or you wanted to build a 3D game, a flight simulator. Wow. Or if you wanted to select a trigger for what it is that you want to do, Replit can help out with that too. Um, Replit is not free. ChatGPT is free up to a certain number of prompts. They're all going to require you to log in and create an account at some point, because creating anything with AI does cost money. So let me go to Eventbrite and go to Albert's list here. So here we go. If you would like to attend the AI workshop, that's this one. Um, and then the software engineering job in just 3 weeks. That's this one. And if you're just looking for overall events, and we have a couple of events that we're doing later this week, we'd love to have you around for those as well. Okay, so we are almost 70 minutes into here. I want to thank everyone for joining. Are there any remaining questions for anybody who has anything to say? Thank you, Chris. Um, I appreciate you being here. Stephen asks, what is the difference of using the free AI platforms versus the paid AI version? In my prompting, is my prompting content more private than using the paid version? Okay, so if you go and you go to ChatGPT, and let's say we open incognito mode. Actually, you can't see my screen now, so I'm just going to share my entire screen. Um, if you go to incognito mode, and you go to chatgpt.com. What you're given here, I believe, is ChatGPT 5, and you can attach a file, you can search the web, and you can use study mode. But you're only going to be able to use um, a certain amount of ChatGPT once you're done. So with this with GPT Plus, you can do video generation. You can test new features along the way. You have extended limits. So if you're somebody who uses a lot of AI at once, like I do, I mean, you probably saw, right? These are all the chats I have going on, and we're not even done with it here. And we have multiple folders for everything too. And I also have AIs that I use as well, or ChatGPT, custom GPTs. With a free version of ChatGPT, you can use projects, but there's going to be a certain point where you're not going to be able to use GPT for very long at that juncture. And so these are the same things for if you were to go look at Gemini pricing for Google. Um, let me see, right? Let's see. Yeah, so Google AI Pro is $20 a month after your first month. You get 2 TB of data, and this connects with your Google account. If you want even more data with even higher limits, then it's 125 bucks, I guess, for 3 months or something of the sort. Let's look at Grok pricing, and let's see here. Oh, did I stop sharing my screen? Uh-oh. Okay. Yeah, I think you can all see my screen now, right? Maybe I'm confused here. Oh, 11 messages. Okay. Um, yes. Okay, great. So, yeah. If you go and you look at, I believe, Grok pricing, there's a bunch of different things going on here. But yeah. And so, it's all very different and depends. But yeah, ChatGPT is $20 a month. And I feel like if you're a job seeker and $20 a month for something that, in my opinion, has become very, very basic and very needed, um, then instead of finding a job, you should go find, or instead of finding like a white collar job, it's time to go work at Starbucks or Target or something like that. Let's see. Okay. Oh, yeah. Oh, wow. Maxing out prompts even on $20. Um, Copilot is built in, so I would say that if, Copilot is okay. I mean, it's not. I mean, OpenAI also runs off of, or rather, Copilot runs off of OpenAI. So yeah. Oh, okay. I was just sharing pricing when I was doing that. So cool. All right. So it is 12 minutes past the top of the hour. I want to thank everyone for joining. Um, and yeah, if there have been no other questions, we are doing this again next month, and I would love to see you all again soon for this webinar and many of our other webinars as well. And we look forward to seeing you all soon. Have a wonderful rest of your evening, and we will see you again in another webinar. Bye.